This video is going to be a slight bit different from the rest of my tier list videos solely because of the fact that there are far too many different pieces of clothing in Tarkov for me to just stand up and remember all their names and go through them all improvised like I normally do. So this time I hosted a Discord discussion and actually took notes on each piece of clothing, and I have those notes sitting right here in front of me. Also, I am sitting down because yesterday was leg day and I am in pain. And because of the fact that there are so many, I'm going to have to kind of just go up through the tiers. I know some people don't like that, but there are too many pieces of clothing for me to just start going all over the place. So we're going to start off in F tier and work our way up to S tier. And starting off the Usec shirts, we have the, I don't even remember what this is called. I just know it as the complete crap camouflage, which is, I believe it's called the UCP in real life. It's this gray piece of garbage. Why do I hate it so much? This is easily one of the worst camo patterns ever developed. What, 4 to 6 billion taxpayer dollars go into making this piece of crap? What does it blend into? It's gray and blue. Unless you are lying down in ground up cement and concrete, you're not blending into anything. Well, also there's that one couch that you'll blend into. That's it. This is such a terrible camo pattern that I believe it statistically got more soldiers killed because it was worn. Now, statistics can lie, but that's still an absolutely terrible frickin' thing, and as such, it is more than deserving of being placed in the absolute F tier trash level, and it will be the only piece of clothing in the game to go into F tier because it deserves it. Moving on to E tier, we have the Killer tracksuit. Now, hold on, put down your pitchforks and torches. Only for Usec does it go into E tier. There's just something wrong about a Usec or a Westerner wearing the Killer tracksuit. I don't know, there's a disturbance, you know what I mean? It just doesn't feel right. It's wrong. It's just wrong, and as such, it's gonna go into E tier. And then bumping up to D tier, we have the Night Patrol shirt. I'm not gonna focus too much on level, unlock requirement, and the actual rubles that each piece of clothing costs because they're all pretty expensive. But this one I'm gonna talk about a little bit solely because this is the final piece of clothing that you can unlock as a Usec. I think it's kind of underwhelming. It looks okay. I do like the exposed forearms, but I'm not a big fan of the mesh. I'm not a big fan of its color. It kind of just looks like a fishing net. And for that reason, I'm gonna have to put it into D tier. I'm not a huge fan of this. And then into C tier, we have the soft shell flexion. This kind of hurts because I used to run this all the time. However, better options have come along, and yeah, its color doesn't really work with too many different armor kits. And its hood kind of acts as like a turtleneck and also a hood, and it's too pronounced. It clips with a lot of headgear, and it just doesn't look as good as many other options are available. That being said, it's not terrible, so C tier I believe is a fair place to put it. And also going in C tier is the basic Usec shirt because it's the basic Usec shirt. It's just average. So C tier is a good spot for it. And then moving on up to B tier, we have the Woodland Infiltrator. This one's in B tier. It could probably be ranked higher, but personally I think it's B tier solely because you have to be wearing the pants, so it's not a very versatile kit. And also you have to be wearing all green. So if you are going entirely for that all camouflage green bush monster loadout on woods or customs, then yeah, I can totally see why people wear this, and it looks very, very nice when you do that. That being said, there's not much else you can do with it, and for that reason, I think it's going to be put into B tier solely due to kind of a lack of versatility. The Commando shirt, or as I like to call it, Grandma's sweater, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the way it looks, and it doesn't go with too many different things. It just kind of, I don't know what it is about it. It just looks funky with a lot of different gear sets. It looks out of place. Because it really does look like your grandma knit you that for Christmas and you chose to wear it into a combat area. It's just goofy in my opinion. I know there's some people who really like it, but I'm gonna have to stick it into B tier because it doesn't look bad, but it just looks a little out of place. So I think B tier is a fair place to put it. And then we have, what hurts me a little bit is I absolutely love the aggressor tack, but better options have come along for the Tan Man loadout that this thing was kind of a part of. So yeah, as much as I absolutely love it, it works really well with the tier 3s. You can do basic Tan Man stuff, and it's relatively inexpensive and early to unlock, but better options have come along, so I can't really put it any higher than B tier. In A tier, we have the PCU Iron Sight. I'm not a fan of the way this thing looks. If you are just doing regular raids and you're wearing this thing, I don't like that much. I don't like its look very much. I think it stands out a bit too much, and you have to either be wearing like black or like a gray in order for it to really look okay with your armor. But if you wear like green or tan armor, it looks a little out of place and funky. So under those circumstances, I'd probably put it in either D or C tier. That being said, this is part of the Sacred Mannequin Rat strategy, and along with the Michael Myers mask, you can completely transform yourself into an invisible mannequin on interchange. And because that is an extremely, extremely fun thing to do, I have to put this thing into A tier. For looks, don't like it. For the mannequin strategy, absolutely love it. So I think A tier is a fair place to put it. Then there is the just direct, better Tan Man shirt, which is the PCS camo. It's just a better Tan Man suit than the Aggressor, so yeah, I think A tier is kind of just where it naturally falls. And then we have the Cerium. I don't use this thing that much, but I will say that on my friends and on other PMCs, it looks very, very nice. It's very versatile. It works with a lot of different armor gear sets, and yeah, it's just versatile and it looks nice, but it's not quite on S tier, and for that reason, it just naturally falls into A tier. Starting off S tier, we have the Vector. This one's kind of a toss-up between A tier or S tier. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide because I think it's slightly better than the Cerium, but it's also not quite as good as some of the other S tiers. So if you wanted to, you could drop this into A tier. I'm just gonna put it into S tier, but like the Cerium, it looks good. It's very versatile. Yeah, it's just a solid shirt. So A or S tier, I'm gonna put it into S tier. Then we have the Urban Responder, which needs absolutely no elaboration as to why it is in S tier, so I will not give it any. S tier cosmetic. Then we have the Ultimate Tan Man shirt, which is the Sandstone. It blends in really well with the Attack 2, the TV-110, the Trooper Armor, and the that Mark III rig. It's just a solid Tan Man cosmetic, and it blends with it incredibly well. And as a result, it has to go into S tier. And then finally, we have my favorite cosmetic in the game, one that I will never get to because I do not grind Tarkov as hard as you need to get this, but one that is absolutely beautiful, and that is the good old flannel. As the proud owner of not quite enough flannels, I absolutely love this thing, and it deserves to be above S tier, but I'm gonna put it in there for the sake of, I don't know, simpler editing. Now we're gonna go through the Usec pants. There's not quite as much to talk about here, but I still think I'm gonna just burn through them real quickly. First, in E tier, we have the Commando pants. They don't really go well with the top, and for whatever reason, they're half waders and half pants, which I don't really get. Maybe if they gave you a buff and allowed you to walk through shin deep water instead of just the ankle deep water that we're able to walk through now, then maybe I could see placing them higher. But yeah, for now, they're just kind of funky looking. The camouflage doesn't blend with any of the other tops, so there's not really much of a reason to really wear these. And then in D tier, we have the Sage Warrior. They're kind of just unremarkable. They're so unremarkable, I didn't even take notes on them. I'm pretty sure we just saw them, we're like, and then we just threw them into D tier. They're okay, I guess, but yeah, they're just unremarkable. So for that reason, they're gonna drop straight into D tier. C tier, we have the basic Usec pants that you get when you start as a Usec. What's to say about them? They are the baseline. They're what you just immediately have. C tier. Deep Recon pants, they're kind of but they're also really, really expensive for just being so they don't look bad, but they don't look great, so C tier. I don't think they're worth their price point. And rounding off C tier, we have the Tac Life Terrain pants. Now, these do complete the Mannequin Rat loadout, but the thing about them is they're not really necessary to complete that loadout. You can kind of get away with doing that with any pair of pants. The only thing you need is the PCU iron sight, so they're not going to benefit from the same elevation, so they're going to drop into C tier. They're all right. B tier, starting it off, we have the Gen 2 Kybers. Now, these look very similar to the Tac Life Terrains, but there is one very important element about them that elevate them into B tier, and that is they have pockets literally everywhere. There are pockets on the calves of these things for some reason. And as a person who really, really, really likes pockets on clothing, I approve. These are clearly what Tagilla is wearing to have his monster pockets, so yeah, I think these should buff pocket size solely because of how freaking many there are on there. Yeah, I can respect that. I think B tier is a very solid place for it to go into. The tier 2 pants, they look good, but they don't really go with the flannel as well as the Ranger jeans do, and for that reason, they've kind of been replaced in their set, so I think B tier is a fair spot. They're kind of off-brand urban responders, but they also look pretty solid, so, you know, B tier. The Tacker, the Tac, however the hell you pronounce Tackeries or something like that, they look okay. They don't go with too much, and they're not super remarkable, but at the end of the day, they just look solid, so B tier is a fine spot. And then finally in B tier, we have the Woodland Infiltrators. They just go with their shirt, so there's not much to say here. Starting off A tier, we have the K4 pants. They look good. They look very, very good. The thing is they are just slightly inferior to the Urban Responder pants, but they look very good with the Cerium top, which I do like a lot, so A tier. And then the tier 3 pants, they just kind of complete every single Tan Man loadout, which is a vitally important role, and as such, I have to show them the proper respect. They're not quite as good as some of the S tier options, so A tier is just a natural place for them. And then of course we have the Ranger jeans in S tier. They go with pretty much anything you want them to, and they perfectly round off the flannel. So yes, absolutely love these things. And along with them in S tier are the Urban Responders, which once again need no elaboration. Moving on to bare shirts, in D tier we have the Zaslon. It's alright, it's pretty unremarkable, and even worse, its patch seems to bend and twist in ways that defy the laws of textile physics, and I don't like that much. So I think D tier is a good spot. Then we have the Rash Guard Focus. The way one of my viewers described this is it looks like you were wearing a white t-shirt, you took a dive into a lake, and then proceeded to roll around in goose shit. And it's really unfortunate that I see that quite a bit, and since I don't really like the idea of running around Tarkov covered in goose shit, we're gonna have to put this thing into D tier. It could be worse, but, you know, not quite by much. In C tier, we have just the regular t-shirt. There's one very specific scenario where you'd wear this, but really, in my opinion, it's just a downgrade from the basic bear shirt. So I don't know why you would get this, but you know, up to you, I suppose. Then we have the Sumrak. This thing makes you look like a tactical Christmas elf. It's not quite on goose shit tier, but it's and even when you get the full tactical Christmas elf set, it just doesn't look great. That being said, it could be worse. Finally, in C tier, we have the Boreas, something like that. When you are wearing any other armor, it is a C tier. But if you wear the full Ratnik gear set, along with the recon pants, then this thing looks incredibly nice and it gets skyrocketed straight into A tier. That being said, with literally every other piece of armor, it doesn't look that great. So C tier is where it will rest, but once again, wearing Ratnik armor makes it look very, very nice. In B tier, we have the basic bear shirt. I think it just looks really, really good, especially for the basic starting clothing, and I think it's just better than the Usec one. So B tier is a good spot for it. The Grizzly, it looks like a wetsuit, if I'm being honest, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And it also goes really well with the SRBV pants. But yeah, I would wear this. It looks pretty solid, and I think that it is firmly deserving of just going into B tier. Finally in B tier, we have the Summerfield shirt. It's cheap and there's kind of a reason for it. It doesn't look fantastic. It's not nearly as good as like Woodland Infiltrator or some of the other lineups that are available to bears. That being said, when you wear the Summerfield pants as well, and you wear an all green loadout, it can look pretty nice. So, A tier it is. Black Lynx is going to go into A tier, as it is pretty much just a better soft shell flexion. There's not much to say here. It's extremely versatile and it looks very nice. Black is just kind of automatically upgrades clothing in this game because of how many things it can go with. So yeah, A tier. Following the Black Lynx is the G99. It looks very, very nice. I really like the multiple colors that it has going on. But that being said, the pants that go with it don't really match the tan coloring of the shirt, which is a little disappointing because I absolutely love the shirt, but the pants bring it down a little bit, so I can't quite put it into S tier, but it is firmly deserving of going into A tier. And finally, we have the Tigers, or the Tigger shirt. Looks absolutely solid. It's kind of like the Bears version of the Woodland Infiltrator, except just straight up better. I really, really like it, especially with the pants. It is an incredibly good looking cosmetic, so yeah, I believe A tier is where it goes. And then in S tier, we have the Odik tracksuit. When it is being worn by a Russian, it just makes sense. It just feels better. So for that reason, it is going to go into S tier, and it is phenomenal. It's weird when it's worn on a Usec, but on a bear, just balance is restored and everything is okay. S tier. And then we have the tan shirt that is probably gonna be one of the few things that actually makes me play as bear next wipe. And that is the Ghost Marksman jacket. Holy crap, does this look absolutely phenomenal. There are 2 different pairs of pants that go with this thing. Yeah, this is probably one of the best cosmetics in the game, in my opinion, because it's just such a good Tan Man cosmetic, and I really, really like that. It's not quite beating the flannel, in my opinion, because I really like flannel, but incredibly solid cosmetic. Yeah, I might play bear because of it. And then finally, we have the Rusky flannel, because it's flannel. I love flannel. S tier. And we're gonna finish up this tier list with the bear pants. The G99s, they look okay. They kind of ruin the top solely because of the fact that the tans don't quite line up as nice as I would like them to. However, they don't look bad. So for that reason, we're going to put them in C tier. Solid looking, but don't quite mesh well with the G99 top, and that's a little disappointing because I really, really like the G99 top. Then we have the old school pants. These are kind of just a set completer. They're really only ever worn with the Telniks. That being said, once again, they don't look bad, so I can't rank them lower than a C, but they definitely don't deserve much higher. The Recon pants, they're the ones that go with the Boreas to make the full Ratnik loadout. That looks really, really nice, and they go into A tier when you complete the loadout. But if you wear any other armor besides the Ratniks, they go into C tier. The Voin pants are the lower half of the tactical Christmas elf loadout. They're not quite as egregious as the jacket is. They're still not that great. C tier. Starting B tier is the basic bear pants. They just look better than the Usec pants in my opinion. There's not much more to say beyond that. They just solid and they are better than their Usec alternative. B tier. That being said, the Urban Tack pants, which are the ones that are supposed to go with the Russian flannel, I believe, they are inferior to the Ranger jeans that the Usec have. And even then, there's another pair of bear pants that, in my opinion, just go with the Russian flannel better. And for that reason, I can't rank them any higher than a B, but they still look pretty solid. The Infolops, in my opinion, look pretty good with the Russian flannel, but they are, once again, worse than the Ranger jeans. And I'm gonna keep saying that because bears may have better clothing overall. Debatably, don't want to spark a war in the comments, but Usec definitely has better flannel and Ranger jeans in my opinion. So that is the one thing we have. Please let us hold on to it. The SRVV pants, they're the ones that go with the wetsuit. They also go pretty well with the black links. And if you wear the black t-shirt and you put these on, you can kind of cosplay as a Gluhar guard. Other than that, they just look solid and they're a little versatile, so B tier. And rounding off B tier are the summer pants, which are just the lower half of the Summerfield jacket. That is really just the, if you want to be a green bear, this is kind of what you wear. In A tier, we have the tiger lowers. There's not much to say here. They look really nice and they go with the tiger top. And then in S tier, we have the Gorka pants, both the, I forget what they're called, the SSO and something else. They go with the Ghost Marksman pant, or the Ghost Marksman jacket, and they look very, very, very good, both of them. So S tier. They are completely deserving of going into S tier. And then finally, we have the Zaslon lower. These pants are the most versatile bear pants in the game, in my opinion. They go with literally everything. They're basically the bear urban responders. And if they can even hold a candle to their urban responder pants, then they have to be very solid. And therefore, I don't feel I need to elaborate much further. Thank you all so much for watching, especially if you are still here hearing me right now. You have watched all the way to the end, and that means a lot to me. I really hope the video was enjoyable. I really hope my voice, I wasn't rushing, or my voice doesn't sound too terrible. The problem is I already recorded this and all the stuff got deleted and now it's midnight and I have to edit this all. So if I sound like I was rushing, I apologize, that's why. But you know, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. That really does mean a lot. I hope you enjoyed. Next week should hopefully be the aesthetic modders, and I think that's going to be a Tarkov geographic style video. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. But otherwise, just thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.